So hi guys, welcome in Agile Coaching Training last session. This is a session on why expert Agile coach is important, last part. So we will see what are the agenda for today's session. Okay, so here is the agenda for today's session. Deep dive on core professional coaching skills such as levels of listenings, powerful questions, articulating what's going on, acknowledgement, clearing self-management, finding values and curiosity and more. Second point is designing the coaching alliances with sponsors, managers, teams and team members. Third is the anatomy of coaching sessions and lots of practice. Fourth one is making clear requests and achieving accountability. Fifth one is agile coach competencies framework and the coaching stances. Sixth one is dealing with complaint. Seventh is working with resistance and strong emotions. And last point is perspective coaching, like reforming circumstances to move from being stuck into world of usual possibilities. So we will see our first point, deep dive on professional coaching skills such as level of listening, powerful questions, articulating what's going on, acknowledgement, clearing, self-management, finding values and curiosity and much more. So basically first point is ignoring, pretending listening, selective listenings, attentive listening, empathic listening. So guys, these are basically some sort of points on which agile coach is working. So what exactly ignoring? So ignoring means the lowest level of listening is called ignoring, not listening at all. Or if you are distracted by anything while talking to a user, they can get that impression that you are ignoring them. For example, while the user is speaking, you start a conversation or interacting on a common what another area of work is there, or talking on some other work related to that particular topic. So it's something like you are ignoring that particular user. So something like that. Now pretending listening means what? So pretending listening is mostly easily explained in face-to-face conversation. You are talking to the other persons and they have that backpacking um, looks like in their eyes, or on the phones. It happens when you say something like I see or okay, etc. So while working on this unrelated emails or playing with another computer games, or people can tell you to distract. So this is something like pretend listening. You are partially listening, you are partially not listening. Now selective listening means what? So during selective listening, we pay complete attention to the speaker as long as they are talking about the things we like or agree with it. If they move on their things, we slip down to pretend listening or ignoring them altogether. So this is basically a selective listening where if giving a simple example, I'm sitting in my I'm acting as a manager. I'm sitting in my cabin in the organization. Somebody has knocked the door, came inside and started providing me their problems or their blockers. So I have to stop my work. If I'm talking on phone, I have to stop my phone. If I'm working on my laptop, I have to stop my working. I have to provide them a seat. I have to make them comfortable and I have to listen them carefully what exactly that persons need to talk to me, or that persons want to share with me. So I'm listening those all the things. So this is called selective listening, where we are giving them a complete attention, we are listening them altogether. Now attentive listening means what? So attentive listening means, of course, when we carefully listen to the other person, but while they are speaking, we are deciding whether we agree or disagree, the determining whether they are right or wrong. So while listening the problem, while listening the person, I am pretending myself that the person is right or not. So I am judging somewhere that particular person's voice or that particular person's problem, and based on that judgment I am going on a particular level. Like I am agree with this conversation, I am disagree with this conversation, or this person is right or this person is wrong, or the communication is right or wrong, like that. So this is called attentive listening. Now uh, like this there are other topics also available, like empathic listening, listening for the gist, listening to rebut, listening to logic, listening to emotions, listening for their point of views. So these are lot many listening areas are available, uh, which should be available in coach area. So coach should be aware about this. And when coach is dealing with any person, maybe coach is dealing with their superior, their junior, their management, their client peoples. So at that time coach have to decide which listening part coach has to apply while listening the problems. Now when after listening, when we are exactly talking about the problem, at that time there are some sort of powerful questions also, like how can you do that better, or what will this get you, or what is you are not seeing, or what is your responsibility, where exactly you are, or how do you plan to maximize the ROI for sprint or release or project. So something like that. So here I had given a little bunch of questionnaires. These are powerful questions when you are interacting with any person of your team, maybe a bunch of team members, or maybe face-to-face team member, one-on-one team members. At that time these questionnaires will help you to understand on which level, on which area that particular person is talking. Now there are few more things when you are asking questions. So avoid why or who. The questions start from why or who, you have to avoid it. Why? Because both form of questions are often interpreted judgmentally or lead to blame. Like why question triggers emotion, defensive mechanism in most people. So if we are asking why these things are not happen, so somewhere slightly or indirectly I am hurting the emotions. So this is the reason best agile coach or a superior agile coach always try to avoid the question which start from why or who. Now second point is caution on where or when. Why? Because these forms of questions can sometimes be powerful, but they are typically more close than open-ended. Say for example, where and when are the questions are requested for specific pieces of data. If people don't know the answer to where or when question, they might become nervous, and that time they are supposed to know that might be seen the ignorance, or they are started ignoring those questions, or they feel like because I don't know more on these areas, so this is the reason these kind of questions are asked to me. So be cautious when you are asking the question which start from where or when. Now prefer what or how. So questions which started from what or how questions are by far the easiest to get right. Like both questions ask for a descriptive response. Even some cautions is warranted here, but when you are asking, like you want to know something, at that time you can ratherly prefer to start it from what or how rather than where, when, or why, who. So this is basically a set of questions which you can prefer as a good agile coach. Now there are again a slight difference between generic and specific questions. So good powerful question don't usually required to be subject matter expert on the work of team or your coaches. So as such they are usually somewhat generic. Specific questions can be powerful as well. So if you are using a very specific question, I'm giving a simple example. One person meet me in the middle of my way in office or in my desk, and provide me the detail about their problems or about their stuckness. Now very specific questions I ask them. So from where you have started facing these questions, or what kind of problem is this exactly? Can you tell me, or can you give me some sort of brief on these areas, so that I'm trying to understand that question and this feeling I'm passing from my side to that person. Now openly that person explain me everything. Based on that explanations, I get to know what exactly that person required. Now I am asking that person, what is your goal? So behind this entire scenario or behind this entire explanation, what is your goal? What exactly you want from my side? Or how can I help you? How can I make you more stable? Or how can I make you more easy so that you can come out from this situation? So by this way you can use a generic question or specific questions, and you can feel them better, and you can provide them solutions also. Now these things happens usually when you are communicating with team members, and there are again some sort of more question, like what is blocking your progress, or what more do you think you should know, or what might happen if you don't do this, or what are you doing that is hardening you, or uh, what are uh, what are the good at your end which you are doing. So like this, or if you want to ask from how question, so how do you move forward, how can you be more creative and innovative, so something like that. So you can ask the questions in those area. So this will make more powerful questions, um, which I told you guys. Even you can make a specific matrix where you can ask the question based on event, situation, choice, person, reason, or based on meanings. Now you can ask this question based on present, past, possibility, probability, or prediction, or imaginations. So you are imagine something by person, so you might be start with how might, or if by prediction with person, if you have some sort of prediction, then you might be start with who will, or why will, like that. So this may be some sort of areas where you can create more powerful questions. Now we will move to our next target. So next is coaching sessions. So what exactly community coach should know, and how community coach moved from community coach to professional coach. So coach should know a specific rules and regulations about agiles, which we called as guidelines or principles. Coach should be uh, coach should be more coach should have more ethics. So knowledge of more ethics, coach should have. coach should uh, Coach should have a knowledge of participations in groups, knowledge of skill drills and activities, knowledge of learning and style stages. So these things coach should know, like how to deal with these areas or how to enter in these particular areas. Say for example, I have a big mob of team, say maybe 125 team members are there. It's a big mob and I have to enter in that mob, and I have to mix it mix up myself with that particular mob. I have to took a participation in their discussion, and I have to provide them some sort of knowledgeable points, or maybe I have to learn some bullets points from their areas. So this is the reason coach should have a good knowledge how to enter in this area, how to specifically participate in such kind of group, or how to drill their skills or activities. Now learning style is always, coach should have open both the doors, learning door as well as providing or updating the knowledge doors to team members as well as themselves also. So this is one thing. Motivational strategies, coach should know how to motivate the team members, because these things happens most of the time, that team members are face some sort of issue from so long time, they don't have solution for that, and because of that team members are demotivated, and they are feeling frustrated, they are feeling very bad when they are working. So coach should identify these things within a team, and coach should motivate them. So coach maybe motivate them by providing some sort of stories, some sort of experience, or maybe some sort of making changes in the process, in the day-to-day life. So these are stages for motivations which coach can do. Now tactic and strategies. So coach should have a good knowledge about tactics and strategies about agile. So from where agile can move, or uh, where I can bend agile, where I can make changes in the agile, and how to apply these changes in particular strategy, how to make the strategy more peaceful, more powerful. So coach should know these things. Coach should have a good knowledge about these tactics and strategies, and based on these tactics and strategies, coach can create a improvement plans for their team, and implement those improvement plans time to time after some sort of intervals. Now coach should know the psychology of team members. Say for example, if I am giving a specific work to particular team member for 3 months, and daily that person have to do that same work, so maybe after 2-3 weeks that person will get bored, and because that work is assigned to that person is just pushing it and doing it, not doing by the bottom of their heart. So this is the reason coach should know the psychology and anatomy of team members as well as project, and time to time coach should have to make some sort of changes in such kind of psychologies, and some sort of anatomies also. Now training techniques, coach should know a better training techniques. Like if I am dealing with a complete fresher team, like college pass out team is there, and I'm dealing with them, so coach should know how to train them. If coach is dealing with some sort of hard team, who are not who are not ready to accept the changes, so coach should know the tricks how to motivate them, how to move them from their traditional movement to agile side. Maybe coach is working with some sort of team which are not fresher, which are not hard, but they know somewhat about agile. They doesn't have a complete information or complete knowledge about it. So coach should know how to deal with these teams, because these teams already know something. Now I have to start it from scratch. So how to start from scratch and how to override that knowledge on teams and make the team movable. So coach should know these sort of training techniques and their knowledges. Now, making clear requests and cohesive accountability. So what exactly this? So basically first part is common purpose, like why does this matter? So when somebody approach to coach or somebody is connected to coach, at that time uh, coach should ask this question to themselves, like why does this matter? So the person who is talking based on some sort of problem or based on some sort of situation, maybe that situation is positive side, maybe the situation is at negative side, coach should ask the question to themselves, like why does this matter? Like this is a common purpose, like why does this matter with this team or with these team members or with this person? Now clear expectation, coach should make a clear expectation based on how or what question, like what does success look like, or what does this person want, or what is the goal of this person, and how to move this person from current situation to towards his goal. So this is a clear expectation which coach should clear while communicating with that particular person. Now third is communication and alignment. Now while communicating and aligning the things with particular team members based on their conversation, at that time coach may start the conversation with like how do we set this up for success, or how we can move it towards our success, or how can I resolve this problem, like this. So this is something where I'm connecting with the problem, and now I want to provide the solution. But before providing solution, do you have something in your mind which may solve your problem or which may resolve this situation? So do you have something in your mind? So we have to know these things. So this is what we called as a deeper communication, and this communication should be aligned with that particular person. Now fourth point is coaching and collaboration. So adjust few things, like adjustment means what exactly the person is saying. Sometimes it's a language problem, sometime maybe it's a communication problem. So you have to adjust yourself and you have to try to understand what exactly that person wants to tell you, or what exactly that person is facing, which that person is trying to express in front of you, and telling you the exact problem. Fifth point is uh, consequences. So positive and negative consequences which we may found while we are while we are talking with that particular person. Maybe it's a single person, maybe it's a bunch of persons. So while communicating with that person, try to find out, does that person moving towards negativity? If it is, first thing first is make that negativity, convert that negativity into the positivity. So provide them some sort of example which move them from negative to positivity, and after that you have to start your communication. Because if somebody is moving to negativity or to negative side of a coin, in that case, if you are giving that person even a golden solution, that person will not accept it fully. That person may accept it partially, because you are a coach and you are a good coach in organization, so maybe the person is agree with your solution, but mindly or by heart that person is not agreed with that solution because negativity is there. Say for example, I'm giving a very simple example which may hurt sometime from team members, that I'm doing very hard work but nobody is there to appreciate it, or nobody notice my work, or nobody notice my presence or my knowledge. So this is something negativity which is there, and you have to remove this negativity and make it positivity, that I know you are there, I know you are good in this area. I know you have a very good knowledge on this area, and right now I'm thinking to share your knowledge, to share your experience with our team members, so that they can also learn, they can also groom their self, and they can also get to this situation, get to your position. So I'm trying for this, I'm thinking for this. So by this way, when you are started communications, at that time you are removing that negativity and you are adjusting the positivity between them. So by this way you can convert them, and then you have to start providing them a solutions. Now next is a next is a coaching structure. So what exactly agile coaching structure? So there are very simple 6 steps, like establishing coaching agreement, set the goal or outcome for the session, coach the client or identify and commit the action, key outcomes, and last one is accountability. So basically these are some sort of coaching structures which we applied. Now if you see on my screen, it's a agile coach. So first thing first is mindset and behavior. You have to change the mindset and behavior of people. You maybe your team members are influenced with some sort of myths or some sort of talkative stories, which we call as a bedtime stories. This is something happens in agile. If you are driving agile or if you are moving agile, then maybe you are facing so and so issues or so and so problems. So this is something stories where people are influenced. You have to remove those things. Now coaching means you are inspiring potentially to your team members, you are mentoring your team members, you are updating not only their knowledge, but you are providing them some sort of good knowledge with experience, and same time you are sharing good thoughts with your good experience also. Like I faced so and so issue in my past experience. The entire team was stuck or entire team was hampered, but this is a solution which we applied, and easily I removed my team from that particular stuckness, from that particular bad situation, and my team was started working very well in later future. So likewise you can coach them, even you can mentor them for their fast growth, their fosters growth. You can always take care about their career growth, technical growth, process related growth, their personal growth. So this is also some sort of work area which comes under agile coach. Transformation is again a area where you can transform either a knowledge or either project information from one team to another team, maybe one country to another country. At that time you have to make sure that the entire transformation is going very smoothly. You should have a good roadmap for transformation, and by that roadmap only transformation will happen, so that we will never miss anything while transforming the knowledge or maybe project or maybe the information. Now business mastery, this is very rarely available in agile coach, but if it is there in agile coach pocket, then it's good to have. Like what kind of business organization is doing or client is doing, and based on that business what kind of requirements currently we have, and how to fit this requirement in their production environment. So these things, technical mastery is also added advantage. If you have, you can resolve their technical problems very easily. You can facilitate them, you can teach them in different shapes of knowledge, solutions in terms of not only process or methodology, but in terms of technology, in terms of business related flows and other areas also. And last is framework like agile or lean or scrum or kanban. XP is there, Spotify is there. So if you have more than one framework knowledge, you can easily communicate with your team members, and you can easily provide them a very good knowledge or very good solutions. Say for example, Scrum is working for development team. I cannot fit the scrum to each and every team members who are not working in development. So this is the reason, if you have good knowledge about framework, you can easily identify which framework is suitable for the team members and how that particular framework is fitted, and based on this knowledge, maybe you can guide them, you can coach them, and you can support them. So by this way you can coach them. Now while you are practicing uh, as like a framework, or as like a agile coach, or as like a flow master, at that time you have to not only monitor the process, but you have to provide them a suggestions also time to time. So like when they are attending a ceremonies, at that time you have to make sure that the ceremonies are going with their agendas only. The ceremony will not divert while running off track. Every time the ceremonies should be on track. So if it is happen, then you have to communicate with the lead or scrum masters, and you have to provide them some sort of guidelines so that they can identify the flaws and they can easily manage those things. Okay, now agile coach growth will. So this is a some sort of growth will where you are transforming or you are sharing the knowledge with your team members, and not only team members but in your project, as well as your management and your client team members also. So there are different parts, like knowledge the organizations, or knowing with the business, or knowing with the teams, or knowing yourself. So where exactly you are, you can find out easily using this agile coaching growth wheel, and you can identify where exactly you are lacking. Based on this lacking area, you may train yourself, you may update yourself, and you can restart your job with your team members. But when you are updating yourself, at that time it should be done unknowingly. You should not express these things in front of your team members. You have to update yourself more faster, and you have to come back with your knowledge. Okay, now dealing with complaints. Yeah, so there are different complaints available while you are working with teams or in projects. So while dealing with complaint, at that time maybe it happens that sometime the complaints make you demotivate, or force you to travel to negativity. But always agile coach should be always stay on positive side. Agile coach should be always listen the complaint properly, find out is it a real complaint or not. There are some sort of stages, like when the complaint is arises, at that time you have to find out in which area the complaint is right now. So I am giving that particular stages here. Like first stage is where the complaint is arises towards you, but that complaint is not that much serious. So you can take your some time, and you can adjust your time, and you can resolve it. Second complaint is where your communication or your influence is required, basically because if you make it a delay, or if you provide a solution very late, then maybe it happens that complaint creates a bigger noise. So this is the reason you have to make yourself available for that time. Third stage is where your presence is required, and your solutions are highly recommended. Like that complaint is goes on a very higher level, and now it's time where you have to provide your judgment or your solutions to your team members, and based on that solutions, based on that judgment, maybe team members can work and try to response. Now second is respond quickly when somebody approaches you. Maybe somebody is stuck in some areas, maybe in a technical area, maybe in a process area, or maybe in some other areas. At that time maybe that person is trying to communicate with you. Maybe that communication goes through email, maybe that communication goes through chat, maybe that communication goes through call, or maybe face to face. So you have to identify what exactly the problem is and try to respond quickly. Or if response is not possible quickly, you can identify how much time you can sustain, or within how much time you can provide that particular response, but as early as possible. And based on that, you have to provide that communication to particular person that I need this much time to find out a solution for your problem, and then I'll provide you the solution either by mail or by the chat or by training or by coaching sessions. So likewise, now offer personalized service. It happens sometimes that team members require some sort of personalized service. Giving a very simple example, within my team there are 2 to 3 team members who are very shy. They never speak about their problems, they never speak about their stuckness or their blockers. They always try to find a way, but in this situation they invested more and more time, which is not feasible, or sometimes it's harmful for deliveries. So in this case I have to provide them a personalized service, like I have to communicate with them one on one or face to face. I have to try to find out what exactly their problem is, and based on that problem I have to provide them a solution or maybe a help which will move them more and more faster. So this is called offer a personalized service within a team, outside a team. Even if required, provide this service to your management or your client side also. Take ownership without blaming others or the organization. Sometimes it happens that some stuckness are there, team come up with their problems, their blockers, and responsible persons are not available. So at this time it's a job of agile coach. It's not actually the responsibility of agile coach, but it's a job of agile coach, that agile coach should take a ownership, take that responsibility, try to find out a better solution, better person who can provide a good way of work or a good way to resolve the problem, rather than blaming the person who is responsible for that particular situation or for that particular area and not available right now, or rather than blaming to the organization. Agile coach should take a responsibility, try to resolve it as early as possible, and provide these solutions, these feedbacks to their team members. Last one is follow up. While you are taking a responsibility of any area, it's your job to make a follow up. Rigorously, you have to make a follow up and try to close that particular window. Say for example, in my team, communication delays happen, and this communication delays happen between 2 teams. Now it's my job to make this communication faster. So I am doing follow up for both the teams from both sides, and I am trying to make it more and more faster. I am trying to close that particular issue as early as possible. So this is called follow up. So you are doing you have to do the follow up rigorously, and based on this follow up you have to resolve those all the issues, those all the problems as early as possible. Now next is working with resistance and strong emotions. So what exactly resistance and strong emotions? So first is a resistance mask. What is strong resistance emotions mask is fear. So mostly team members are afraid to communicate with maybe management or maybe scrum master or maybe agile coach, or team members are afraid to provide the situation because they identified their mistakes, and they are afraid because of maybe some sort of insecurity. Say for example, losing a job, losing a credibility, I am losing my weightage in the team, something like that. Second is distract. So distract means something which is distracting the team, like outside influence uh, between the team. Say for example, client is directly communicating with team members and forcing them to work on particular area which is not identified when we are uh, when we had done a planning. So this is called a distractions. So this is again a mask which is making resistance. So agile coach has to remove the fear, agile coach has to remove the distractions, anger within a team. Now anger may be in a different format. Say for example, it's related to work, it's related to communication, it's related to the tickets which are assigned to that particular person, and that particular person doesn't know anything about that particular ticket or doesn't know about the technology. So this is somewhere comes as an anger. So it's a job of agile coach to manage these situation, resolve this anger situation, make them happy, feel them uh, safe, and move towards that move from that situation to positive situation. Now fourth one is exhaustion and overwhelming. So this is somewhat where team is exhausted, maybe because of pressure, maybe because of time lacking, maybe things are delayed, maybe communication delayed, maybe technology related area delayed, or maybe they required some sort of authentications, those authentications are delayed, time is running, and they know now time is running and we are not able to complete our job which is very easy, but because of these blockers I am not able to make it possible within this time frame. So this is somewhat pressure, or this is somewhat a negativity, make a exhaustations or make a overwhelming of team members. Sadness. Say for example, because team is working still very hard, but nobody is noticing those things, nobody is appreciating those things, or even within the team nobody is providing them a single line that hey man or hey girl, you are doing a very well job, not even these lines. So this is somewhere create a sadness between a team, like I am doing my level best, I am trying more and more hard daily, but still nobody is noticing these things, and I'm just doing my job, I'm just doing it's very hard, and this is not good. So something like that. So this is called sadness. So it's a job of agile coach who have to communicate with team members time to time. If somebody is doing a good job, a great job, immediately agile coach should appreciate it, provide that appreciation in front of team to that particular person, and even highlight such things in front of management also, so that management can also appreciate those things for team members. At least management can provide a single line mail for team members. It will make a boost, it will make a good things for team members, and team members can started working with more and more energy if we resolve these things. Confusions. Team members have some sort of confusions related to technology, related to their assumptions, related to the requirement, about the knowledge of requirement, about the work culture. So because of these confusions, team members are not able to concentrate on their particular work. So it's a job of agile coach to resolve all the confusions, resolve all the miscommunications within the team, outside the team, also within a management, outside management, and within a client also. Now while removing these confusions, at that time agile coach should communicate with team members, with management, and with client time to time, ask them if they have any sort of confusion, if they have any sort of assumptions. uh, Now it's a job of agile coach that agile coach should provide the answer on those confusions or on those uh, communications or assumptions, whether that confusion is correct or not. If there is a confusion, what is the reason of those confusions, and how to avoid those confusions. So this is a job of agile coach. Now resistance mask where power is present. So get curious. So make your team always curious about new requirement, and communicate with team members for those requirement, upcoming new jobs, upcoming new things, and tell them what they have to do in coming near future, how it will shape up their knowledge and their career. So by this way you can make them curious every time. Now don't get franked out by your emotions. So when you are expressing your knowledge, just don't push it or just don't bombard it on your team members. Provide them slowly, each and everything. Provide them slowly, because they are just like a kids in front of you, and when you are showing them a bigger picture, it should not be create a chaos or fear in front of them. So provide them a shorter knowledge, smaller knowledge on a slowly basis. So by this way you can continue your communications. Now coach emotions. While you are coaching your team members, or while you are coaching your project or your management or your client, at that time insert some sort of emotions in that. So give them some sort of real life example while you are coaching them, or while you are explaining something. Giving a very simple example, that I mostly give this example from which is a travel experience from my home to my office. So how I am traveling, so what exactly the road map, which road is easier for me, what will be the traffic situation, how I am driving, maybe I am driving through bike or through car. This is somewhere in their day-to-day life area. This example is connected to their day-to-day life, and based on this example, when you are connected it with some sort of emotions or some sort of problems or some sort of area of work, at that time it's easy for them to understand what exactly you want to tell them, and how to resolve or how to understand those situations, those problems. So this is the reason, coach your team but with emotions, with the logical or related examples. Don't give them a bookish example, because most of the time bookish examples are just fly, and they are very hard to understand. So this is the reason, in your day-to-day life you are connecting with lot many things, you are encountered with lot many things. So you can put any sort of example from your day-to-day life, and you can use it while you are coaching or you are training your team members. Now reflect on power and purpose. While you are acting as a coach, you are working as a coach with any of your team members or your project, at that time you have to reflect as like a power, like you are a, you have a power of agile, you have a power of knowledge, and based on this knowledge you are working. So based on this scenario, based on this experience, you have to deal with your team members, you have to resolve their problems. Agile coach never ever provide only a single solution. If required, agile coach always provided more than one solution on every situation. If you have not more than one solution in your pocket right now, you may suggest them that this may be my thought. You can start your solution by this way, like this may be my thought or this may be my thinking, that if you go with this area, or if you go with this way, it may resolve your problem. But related to solution, I'll think on it and I'll come back on this area of point, or this work area very soon, and I will provide you some sort of concrete solution. So by this way you can communicate, and by this way you can provide them uh, a maturity, or maybe I am saying a self motivations, so that when they are working in their in their day-to-day life, at that time they should feel that power, that we have a good knowledge, we have a good agile coach. If anywhere we stuck, or if anywhere we found any blocker or any risk, then we have a agile coach who will either provide a solution or will provide a proper person, contact person, whom if we communicate, then our problems will resolve. So this is related to reflect on power and purpose. Guys, if anybody have any queries, any questions, can ask me. Guys, this is my last session today on Agile Coach session, on Advanced Agile Coach. This is my last session. So if anybody have any queries, any questions, can ask me. Okay, I'll ask my question in different way. How do you feel in this session? So Anna, Christine, Jana, Christoph, how do you feel?
In overall or about just this session?
Tell me both side, overall also and this session also.
Overall, this was a great journey for me.
Okay.
From the very basics to this coaching level, and for me it was just part of enlightenment.
Thank you.
Say, because there is a lot of you which I just didn't encounter, and a lot of problems which just you didn't hit because you are just not in a position, and it's just for me it is just a very positive message that you just communicate us every time that okay, there will be a solution, and maybe you just didn't see right now, but every time there is a solution, and just start thinking that way or this way. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Tibor. Even for every problem, there is a solution. We just need to find it out. Sometime we found a solution very early. Sometime it took some time, but still fine. Means I'm not saying that there is a problem which solution is not available. I didn't face or I didn't feel any such kind of situation in my past experience. But thank you so much. I like your views. Thank you so much, Tibur. Any one more want to express their feelings about this session or the overall journey?
I just simply would like to say a big thank you because I heard some new things and I heard things which were not new, but it's always good to take some time and just simply think about. And I loved the journey and all the thoughts you shared. I think this is always great. Just stop for a minute and think about how we are working and make it, yeah, how do you say it? Um, that you know why you are working like this or how you are acting like this. I
Yes.
think this is very helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Thank you so much for your kind words. Um, Anyone more? Peter, do you have any suggestion or any view?